Good morning. It's Monday, the 26th of February, 2018. Welcome along to this morning's United Kingdom Talk. 1 and 2 whole months now since Christmas. Oh, yes. Don't think I haven't forgotten that you didn't buy me a gift this year. No. I haven't forgotten that. Well, the snow flurries are starting outside, to be honest. There's just a little bit. It's like someone stood like 3 miles away from you and chucked some of the white stuff at you. So there's a few bits going on this morning. And when I was watching BBC Business Live on the BBC News Channel this morning, they were doing an interview. Someone was standing in front of Big Ben, which incidentally you can't see at the moment. If you're coming to the UK on a holiday and you're expecting to see Big Ben, you can't, because it's all covered in scaffolding. A little man is going up at the moment and making minor repairs. I wonder how they do that. I'm just amazed at how you can cover the whole thing with scaffolding, and it's all like nothing's crooked, is it? How do they do that? You know, I've seen blokes put scaffolding. In fact, quite often I actually seek to go out and watch young men putting up scaffolding in tight trousers and no tops on in the middle of summer, with tattoos on the side and gorgeous faces and little legs that... Oh, sorry, I'm getting quite carried away there. But how do they do that? Because I don't see anyone going around with a measuring stick or a tape measure or anything like that. Do you? They just do it, don't they? And everything is straight and erect or sideways like that. And it's all just perfect. How do they do it? Nothing looks slightly wonky. Not one single pole. Those big, thick old poles are standing fully erect there. How do they do that? No measurements. Is there like a secret laser somewhere that someone is firing up that we cannot see with our ordinary human eye? But maybe there's a machine somewhere else. They said, no, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. You know, that's the other thing you don't see on scaffolding, do you? There'll be the blokes down there, you know, with those bolts, and then they shove up another one. And there's not a bloke down the bottom. Just a little bit over to the right. No, too far now. A little bit over to the left. Now, if I put up a picture, it's guaranteed to be crooked, especially if it requires 2 nails. Yeah, you're not so bad with 1 nail. Now, this picture here, for example, 1 nail. Look, 1 nail, right? 1 nail. And the reason there's only one... it's crooked now, isn't it? The reason there's only 1 nail in it is because I know if I put it up with 2 nails, it's going to be crooked. Doesn't matter if I get out a tape measure or a thing with the bubble in it. Don't matter if I get all that out and do it like that. It will be crooked. Oh, hang on a minute. Sorry. Just a minute. If you're on YouTube and Periscope, if you've just sent a message, I won't have it yet because I haven't turned it on. Just a moment. I forgot to do that. 1 moment, please. Just give it a couple of moments. If you sent a message, that won't have got to me, and I can't get it once I've missed it. There we are. You should be all right now. If you've sent a YouTube message or a Periscope or what's the other one now? Twitch. And the other one. Another one. Oh, I can't remember the other one now. Periscope. There's another one. Oh, can't remember what it is. Never mind. If you sent a message by any other method other than Facebook, I won't have got that. Facebook, don't worry. I've got your messages. I'll read them in a minute. Anyone else who sent a message by any other method, please send it again and it should come to me now. Okay, I forgot to open something up there. Yes, it just amazes me how they do that. It really does. Let's say hello to some of you this morning. Good morning to Lewis. Morning, young Lewis. Is their first message in this morning. Aren't you going away on a holiday somewhere? I'm sure I saw... Oh, no, you're going for a job with... Don't tell me. Club 18 to 30. Yes. Oh, do you know, that must be a fab job for meeting people. Are you open to meet some of the straight lads? You are, aren't you, Lewis? Club 18 to 30. Do you think I'd still get away with going on one of those? A Club 18 to 30 holiday. Lewis has applied to be part of it. Haven't you? Let us know how you get on with that. That would be very interesting. Good morning to Saeed. Morning, Saeed. New people with us this morning. Joseph is there, probably on the Learn English Facebook group. So welcome to you too. Okay. Thank you, Seed, for your kind comment there. Good morning to Alan. It's very careful out there in the snow. Yeah, but as I say, it's actually stopped again now. There's just a few little bits coming towards us. Good morning to Steve Martin. He's on the Isle of Wight via Periscope. Isle of what? Isle of, I don't know where that is. Isle of where? Whereabouts is that, sir? Do let us know. Andy Baker is there. Morning, Andy. Ray Reynolds is the BBC Light programme. This is Radio 2. Good morning, Ray. Alan Russell's there. Chris Bedwell. Good morning, Chris. Is it I think I saw somewhere it's your birthday today, is it? Chris Bedwell does photographs if you've got a wedding coming up or anything like that. I think, was it you who did a funeral the other day? Someone booked a photographer to do a funeral. Do you take pictures of the dead person or people? You know, do you open the box and take them? Oh, how does that work? Do let us know. Be fascinating, that. Morning, Merlin. Lovely Merlin. George Mitchell. Good morning, George. George Sharp Mitchell is a very famous DJ and remixer. You may have bought music remixed by the Sharp Boys. That's him. That's George. And George and I started together DJing at the same place. We didn't know each other. We just started together at this place called The Bridge in Putney. Started off, the first name, it was called Kitty's Bar, and then it became The Bridge, and we had this bloke in charge called Ken Bridges, who was as tight as anything. Oh, going to get your wages off him was like the end of the world to him. I don't think he's with us anymore. I think he passed away some years ago, but he just wouldn't pay the money. It was awful. He was awful. And then George went in one direction. After this particular job, George went DJing in one direction. He went doing mixing and all that. I took the personality route, so we kind of split there, and we've kept in touch all these years. And we're talking 35 odd years here. We are. And it's funny, as we went in other directions, now and again I would bump into Ken and he'd say, perhaps you'd like to come and DJ a game for me. What's the going rate for DJs now? I don't know. And you'd tell him what the going rate was. Well, he'd nearly fall flat on the floor. He was so tight, it was unbelievable. Even worse than me. George would tell you the same, wouldn't you, George? Oh, it's horrendous. Thank you very much. Oh, hang on a minute. My mouse is stuck. There we go. Morning, Jason, who loves a guy who can build a perfect erection. We're talking, of course, about scaffolding. It's marvellous watching them put them up, isn't it? It really is marvellous watching them put them up. Good morning to Diane Jebb. Morning, Diane, who kindly sent me a little bit of advice about my bad back yesterday, which is much, much better this morning. And I think I know why it's better. And I'll come to that in a moment. All right. Vaughan TV, that was the other one. Yeah, there's another big one. I can't remember what it is now, though. YouTube, Periscope. What? I can't think of the other one for the life of me. Funny, isn't it? I can't remember either. Thank you. Thank you, George. I'm better than anything on morning. What better than Jeremy Kyle? He's doing it with his nanny, isn't he? Not his actual nanny. The nanny to his children. They've got together, haven't they? Jeremy Carla and the nanny. What's the age gap there, for God's sake, man? No self-respect, people. And he comes on the stage shouting at people. Oh, dreadful, man. It really is crap on the telly in the morning. I'd rather they took off all that shouting stuff and put on something like A Place in the Sun. I quite like that. Do you? Or A Place Abroad or something like that, where they go abroad and show you what you can buy for, I don't know, £50,000. There was a bloke on there the other day who bought this beautiful Spanish place and it was like £45,000. Was it? I don't know if it's an old programme or not, because there was a lot of repeats on there, but the repeats are like 4 or 5 years old, and what they need to do is put the date on there. So when I say, well, so how much is this house, please? You know, that posh cow comes on, doesn't it? She's so posh, so full of it. You can just imagine meeting her, can't you? You know the one with the long blonde hair. She's so posh. She's so far up herself. I mean, I think she can see her own tongue. You know the one I mean. I don't know what her name is. Anyway, she comes on. So how much do you think this is? And they all start guessing. Well, it's under market budget for just £45,000. You see, now I think at that point there should flash on the screen, correct 1982. Or correct, 2015, because we don't know. I mean, I'd be even straight on the computer, wouldn't you? Tap, 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 Spain, and then you get the place up, and it's like now 150,000 euros. Besides, euros isn't real money. You must insist in paying in pounds, shillings and pence, dear. Euros is not real money, my darlings. Have you ever held a euro? Ah, nasty stuff. Oh, it's vile. The paper, it actually irritates my hands, euros. Keep it, Mr. Juncker. We don't want your nasty little euros, my dear. Good morning to John McCain. Good morning, John. Lewis is going to find out whether he gets to the 18 to 30. Lewis is going to be an 18 to 30 rep. Yes, I think you might need to go down the gym a little bit, Lewis, if you're going to... You've seen them on there, the blokes on there, dear. Eh? On the 18 to 30, get down that gym, my love. I wouldn't be able to go, even though I've lost 2 stone in weight. Have I mentioned that before? Thank you. Merlin... Got halfway to London this morning. Boss rang me and told me to go home in case of snow. Very kind of him. It was just coming past Heathrow. No, it's not coming today, I don't think. They're not predicting enormous amounts of snow today. You might get a couple of flurries. Flurries, you know. Bit of flurrying going on. I don't like McDonald's flurries, do you? Nasty ice cream, that is. The Kentucky Fried Chicken people make nice ice cream. That's all they were selling last week. Ice cream, weren't it? Oh, sorry, I must have been someone else then. Chris has never shot a funeral. Fair enough. Fair enough. There is a snow blizzard in West London. Well, thank God for that. Might give the place a good clean. Do you know, when I'm driving through West London, sometimes I'm driving along, usually around the that dreadful place called Shepherd's Bush Green. Have you been around there? Where they used to have the BBC television theatre. Oh, yes. And you're driving around, a little bit of sun comes out, and immediately that whole green disappears, and they're all out there drinking cans and eating sandwiches on the bit of grass. Let me describe it to you. If you don't know Shepherd's Bush Green, it's this little bit, and I mean little. It's a little bit of green in the middle of these main roads, and people go and sit there and they think that's healthy for them to sit on that bit of green, breathing in all those diesel and traffic fumes. Oh, there's a couple of car manufacturers that have announced they're going to stop making diesel cars. Chrysler, I saw that again on the BBC Business News this morning. Chrysler and another one. Now, who's the other one? It might be BMW. I think they're stopping doing diesel cars soon. The people buying them have just stopped. People just stopped buying them completely. Good morning to AE. Morning, AE. Welcome to the show, AE. The snow is thick in East London, but coming down extremely slow. There we go. I hate snow. I hate driving in it. It frightens the life out of me. It really does. I've spun a car around on snow before, twice, and it's not funny. And that's not going fast. We're talking like 10 to 15 mile an hour, while people are going past at 70 in the outside lane. I kid you not. This is a number of years ago now. It was an old black BMW I had. Really old black. I only paid a few hundred for it from my brother-in-law at the time. He sold me this really old, clapped-out BMW. The seats, you know, the material on the seats, that had all worn around, and you could see the foam. You could see the foam underneath the seats. But my God, it was comfortable. It was so comfortable, this BMW. My mate's got a BMW, and it's a sportsy type one. Him and his other half, they both got these BMWs. And honestly, to get down, it's like going into a basement. It's so uncomfortable. And even when you sit there, and it drives nicely and it looks good and all that, but I find it so uncomfortable. I was having this conversation with him yesterday, actually. I don't think I will buy another car where you've got to go right down. Like, I mean, I've never really been interested in sports cars, Porsches or Ferraris or things like that. It just never ever interested me. I like the ones where you have to step up. Great big things. You know, in comparison to BMWs and Porsches, you know, nowhere near as expensive as those. They're the ones I like, where you step up into them. Not Land Rover, not new Land Rover or Range Rovers. Don't like those. Don't like that. They look a bit like glorified cars now, Land Rovers, don't they, to you? I used to like the Land Rovers and the Range Rovers that were square. Indeed, I had a Defender, Land Rover Defender. I had 3 of those a long time ago now. A great big square thing it was, and you stepped up into it. My mum used to have trouble getting into it. I used to push her. Come on, Mum, get in the car. What is all that about? I was always in a rush. in my 30s. Were you like that? I was like sort of around about 30, for 30 years old. You know, I might go around my mum's and you know, she's obviously 20 years older than me at the time. And she'd be walking, come on, Mum, hurry up. And she'd get to the car and and I'd be pushing, come on, Mum, get in the car. What's all that about? Why are we rushing around at that age? Now I take it easy. I don't allow anyone to rush me anymore. Come on, Chris, I'm coming in my own time. Don't rush me or I'll take even longer. Isn't that funny? As you get older, you don't want to rush around a lot, do you? The only thing I rush around doing now is speaking. I know sometimes I speak a little bit too fast. That's because I've got so much to say and I've got to get it all out, dear. You don't want to miss anything, do you? God's sake, man. Andy says, I like an old black and white movie. They used to do that, didn't they? An old Western or mystery film would be great. Yes, I haven't watched a black and white movie in ages. I'll tell you what, funny enough, you mentioned movies. Yesterday, after we spoke yesterday, Ronnie came over. And I was, my back was quite bad yesterday, I must admit. And we put Netflix on, and there's an excellent film, now I brought that up on here, that we watched yesterday afternoon. Then we had a break, and then I went over his house and watched it at night, called My Old Lady. 2014 film. Maggie Smith's, the lovely Maggie Smith's in it. We love her. I love Maggie Smith. And the film is, and who else is in this? Just a minute. Kevin Kline's in it. Kristen Scott Thomas. Do you know that person? I don't know who that is. I think that might have been the daughter. Anyway, so My Old Lady. So Maggie Smith plays this old lady who owns an apartment in Paris. Okay? And she bought the apartment from someone's father. Now, the father has now died. Okay? She had had a little bit of a fling with the father. She had died. So this younger American bloke comes over and he wants to sell the place. Now, this apartment is to die for. It's beautiful. It's old. The doors on this apartment are just beautiful. They really are. And the gardens and all that, this and the other. So he goes in to see her and he says, well, I want to sell the flats. He said, well, you won't be able to. And he's like, why is that? Because there's some sort of, I mean, I don't know if this was just the film or this is actual truth. This is actually how it works in France. But the flat was sold to this bloke with the agreement that she can live in it as long as she lives, and the bloke who bought it has to pay her 2,400 euros a month just to live there. So he has to pay her, and it's hers until she dies. How old are you? 92. But she's in very good health. So it's great. And then the daughter gets involved, and they think at one point that the daughter then gets off with the American bloke, and then they find out that they might be brother and sister, but they have a little thing in a doctor, you know, blood taken, and that is not the case. And I think they fall in love, and it finishes. It doesn't finish with Maggie Smith dying. I'm pleased to say. Doesn't finish with her dying. It's a wonderful, warm, funny, nice film. So I highly recommend that if you want to watch that one. I've only told you a few bits and pieces in there, but you'll like it. It's called My Old Lady, and that is on Netflix at the moment. My favourite TV channel now, Netflix. Anyone seen that one? Alan says, I used to love Wish You Were Here with Judith Chalmers. Yeah, I like that. Do you remember that when you were going on all the holidays and all that? Ray says it's snowing in Woodford Green, Sir Winston Churchill's constituency. Have you spelt that? No, you've put consistency. Check your spelling, Ray. Are you coming along to the karaoke tonight? Karaoke tonight, boys and girls, if you want to join us at Central Station Bar, Wharfdale Road, King's Cross. It's the Monday karaoke session, 8 till 11:30. Lewis says, on 18 to 30, I'm going to be the fat guy one. What, like in Ibiza Uncovered or whatever it is, Ibiza Weekender. I was watching that the other day. That's lost something, I'm afraid. It's not as good as it was. I can't explain what's happened to it, but I think maybe they've got the wrong people on there now. But that Ibiza weekender thing isn't doing it for me anymore. Watched about half an episode and turned it off. You know, I did go to Ibiza once. Yeah, 1999 it was. It was good. I enjoyed it there. Good morning to Paul, who says, is your YouTube not working? Is it not? Let me have a look. Don't know. It was. 1 moment, please. Can I look and see if that's working? Yes, it says connecting, doesn't it? No, doesn't look like it's working. Must be something wrong with the YouTube this morning, gang. Okay? But not to worry. You're there on Facebook Live as well. No, that definitely isn't working. It says connecting, so for some reason that's not. Maybe if I turn it off and turn it on again. 1 minute. Let's try something there. Turn that off. And turn it on again. Now it wants me to restart the thing, which I can't do halfway through a show. No, YouTube not working. Thank you for pointing it out. I never know, really. Don't really know, because I haven't got like lists of things that come up here and tell me what's working and what isn't. Oh, look, Chris used to go to school near you. There you are. Look at that. Lewis is on a diet at the minute, not going very well. You'll just keep trying, darling. Just keep trying until you hit the right day. I know you live in Shepherd's Bush, John. Dreadful place, dear. And it's not so bad now. The police take the booze off the drunks. I should hope so as well. It's outrageous. Good morning, Tamari. Don't forget, I've got my music and chat show coming up at 10 o'clock, boys and girls. 10 o'clock, uploadradio.com. An hour of fun and music coming up for you on that station, okay? Now, Merlin says it's a trust agreement. When you get the right abode in the house, even if it's been sold or left to a third party, they have to manage the upkeep and pay your expenses. So, yes, indeed, that is one thing that happens in France. So you go and buy a property that's got someone in it. You pay them for the property, and then they are allowed to continue living there until they die, and you've got to pay them money, a rent, kind of, sort of. If it's not quite rent, is it, I suppose? An allowance. That's how it works in France. I don't think I'll be buying anything in France, dear. When we get away from it all. Good morning, Heidi. Will we? Andy says, if Darren ever finished Benidorm, we could spin off a show in Ibiza. Love that show. Yes, the new series of Benidorm is on Wednesday. I believe it's after Coronation Street. I think it's on an hour earlier. Yeah, they've moved him up the schedule to the 8 o'clock thing. Okay, good. What else have we got here? So my back, as I say, yesterday he came over. We watched a bit of that film. And then I went to bed, got up, had something to eat. And then I decided to walk over to his house. Now, my back was bad yesterday. It was bad, especially moving positions. Like from getting up from bed. Oh, that's just very painful. And that's where my bed is. There's a door there, and I'm using the handle of the door to try and get myself up. Now, of course, I was saying to Ray Reynolds on the phone yesterday, when you've got a bad back and it hurts to walk, you change the way you walk, don't you? I mean, and I was kind of walking with if you were walking like with your back straight, I was kind of walking with my back slightly bent in a little bit. And I've been doing that for a couple of days. So now my legs are aching because you're using different muscles in the legs that you usually use. Is it almost a little bit like feeling, your legs ache when you're going to get flu? Just before you get flu, your legs start aching or during flu. It was just like that. And all day yesterday, my legs were aching because of the way I'd been walking around. And Ronnie says, I'll come and pick you up and come over later. I said, no, I'll walk. And he said, are you sure? I said, yes. Now, from my house to Ronnie's house is a little under 25 minutes. It was very cold yesterday, but that doesn't really stop me going out, the cold weather. I've got a couple of lovely coats. One in particular I bought when I took my nephew to Florida about 3 years ago. And I think it was about 3 years ago now, wasn't it, for his 7th, was it for Christmas or his 17th birthday? I can't remember. Anyway, we went to Florida and doing our little shop. We did 2 shopping trips at the designer outlets, and I bought this. I should have brought it up here to show you. I bought a wonderful Timberland rust sort of orangey coloured coat. Dirt cheap, usual price $350, price $75. And it's not that heavy, funnily enough, and I usually wear it when I'm on my bike. If I go out on my bike and it's really cold, that coat goes on, it covers, and it's long. You know, it comes sort of round about knee level. Well, you put that on and do that up. The wind does not get through that, or the rain. It is so warm. So I've got that one, and I've got a shorter coat that for a while I couldn't wear because I just couldn't do it. I was so fat I couldn't do the damn thing up anymore. That's true. I mean, I could, but it was really tight. And you don't want clothes on that restrict your movement, do you? We don't like a restriction. So last night I put my short length coat on and off I went. And I walked to my mate's house, which involves a couple of quite steep hills, which was not easy. I've got to tell you, I got halfway there and I thought, shall I ring him up and ask him to come and get me? I thought, no, we must carry on like Mummy's brave little soldiers. Yes. So we carried on with the walk and I managed to get there. But instead of taking 25 minutes, it took about 50. And I was a bit knackered after that. Anyway, Ronnie, everything he's got is like low down. The car, the settee, everything. So I sat on his settee, and that, you sink into this settee. It's like a round thing like that it is. I sank into that, and I thought, oh, well, I'm comfortable now. Of course, then I had to get up. Oh, God. And it was awful. But I'm glad I did the walk, because I think when you've got something wrong with your muscle or your back or your legs, you need to keep moving. I remember a couple of years ago when I had a bad back and the doctor said the worst thing you can do is get comfortable. Keep moving as much as you can. So that's the reason I did the walk last night. I came back here, then he actually dropped us back here last night. I watched a little bit of telly. I think, what did I watch? Another episode of Mr. Selfridge. And I've got to the bit where he's... If you've watched Mr. Selfridge, I've got to it's series 2 I'm on at the moment, series 2, episode 3 or 4, and I've got to the bit where he's going now to Berlin to do some secret spying work. It's all very exciting. It's all very, very exciting. So that's what he's doing. And I watched a bit of that, and I watched an episode of The Travellers, all on Netflix. I watched so much Netflix stuff now. There's so much on there. Isn't there? When it comes up, suggestions of things to watch. And I'm thinking, I want to watch all of these things. I love it. Netflix, it's so worth £9 a month. It really is. So I watched that and I struggled up to bed. And I went to bed. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. I went to bed. Got up again this morning at 8 o'clock. And I haven't struggled so much. In fact, look, you can see, I'm not complaining today, am I? Yesterday I was doing the show and I was complaining that I was sitting here and it was hurting. Not this morning. I feel so much better this morning. So a little bit later, I should be walking up to the swimming pool. Yes, in this cold weather. Don't let a bit of cold weather stop you going out. Bit of rain, a bit of cold weather. Oh, do me a favour. Come on. I'll be very disappointed if my karaoke people don't turn up this morning. How can a little bit of cold stop you going out? Don't be silly now. So there we are. That's my news from yesterday, and back a much better. I'm pleased to say, another couple of days, and I should be fighting fit again. Good morning, Kevin Bell. Morning, Kevin. Juan says, did sample the fine Harrods tea with my parents on Saturday evening that I sent him. Juan wanted some Harrods tea, so I sent him a few Harrods tea bags, and superb and excellent quality. Thank you very much for having sent it. That's okay, Juan. We like to send British samples to people. In fact, between 11 and 12 today, my tea from Harrods is arriving. I couldn't believe it. Saturday, I went in my cupboard. I've run out of Harrods number 14 English breakfast tea. That is the best tea you can ever have. And it's not over expensive. It's about £4.50 for 200 grams. Okay? That's unless you want to buy it in the tin, in which case it's £10. You only buy the tin once and you just refill it with the £4.50 things. So I've got a load of that coming, but delivered from Harrods. Yes, between 11 and 12. That's exciting, isn't it? Paul says, how's the tin opener going? Well, I mean, I managed to get a tin opener yesterday, but I'm not finding it easy at all. I did, as Juan suggested, hold it at a very slight angle. That appears to have helped. I shall be opening another tin a little bit later on for lunchtime, so we'll see how that goes. But I am finding using an electric tin opener extremely difficult. I just don't seem to be able to get it right under the thing. And my mate came and he'd done it straight away. I'm useless with this stuff, aren't I? Never mind. Have us watched Stranger Things? Not yet. Not watched Stranger Things. Good morning to Srinath. I think it's Srinath. Good morning to you. Juan says, how are you? Getting tea from Howard. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. Let's do some stories. Now, I noticed, now I've been looking for this story. And I can't find it. I heard it. Oh, hang on a minute. No, that's not it there. I heard it on the BBC News thing this morning. No, it's not there. It's not there. But apparently, some country has run out of toilet paper. Isn't that awful? Just imagine running out of toilet paper. There's an entire... It might be Taiwan. Possibly Taiwan. Taiwan has run out of toilet paper. So don't go there on holiday until they've sorted that out. It might not be Taiwan, actually. I've had a quick scan over here. I meant to get that story up for you. And while the opening film was playing, I was searching and searching for this story, but I can't find it anywhere. They say it's on the BBC News site. Can anyone have a look for that? Market data. I don't know what that is. Market data. Companies. Electric minis are going to be built in China. That's good. I wonder how far they go. Primate sales hit by winter. No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say, but there is a country that has run out of toilet paper. So keep an eye. If you're going away on holiday soon, pack a few extra rolls in there. Or make sure there's a tree outside. Now, this story's been going around for a couple of days now. Closures were the only option. We're talking about Jamie's Italian restaurants. And the story in the Times yesterday, I think it was February. Oh, no, it's last week. The boss of Jamie Oliver's restaurants admitted yesterday that the business had lost its way and had become a bit complacent. Well, that's a blooming understatement. Now, I went to a Jamie Oliver's restaurant twice in Reading. And the first time we went, I had these little, because I'm vegetarian, I had these little mushroom ravioli parcels, which were actually quite nice, and some chips as well. And what I will say, horrendously expensive. I mean horrendously expensive. And they put the chips in those blooming metal tube things where you can only get about 5 chips in there. You know, if I'm paying 50 quid for a meal, which I just don't pay. I won't pay 50 quid for a meal. It was an accident. It was actually an accident. You know, he said, well, let's go to Jamie. I didn't think anything more of it until the bill came. Christ. I mean, we went there for lunch and it was something ridiculous, like 65, 70 quid. For lunch, do me a favour, I won't spend that on a dinner. Jamie's Italian restaurants. Now, he insisted the closure of some outlets would pave the way for the restoration of its fortunes. And I've seen this story going around, and a lot of the Jamie's Italian, you know, what's his second name again? Oh God, Jamie's I don't know what's wrong with my brain this morning. Jamie. Oh God's sake, what's his name? Jamie Oliver, that's it. Jamie Oliver, isn't it? A lot of the Jamie Oliver restaurants are closing down. When we went back there the second time, that's it. No, I only ever bought one meal there. We went back there the second time, sat down, and there wasn't a lot at that time. It may have changed now. It wasn't a lot at that time for vegetarian. What's the time? 10 to. It wasn't a lot on there for vegetarians. But I remembered the little mushroom parcel things that I had, and I'm looking, not on there. Excuse me, are you still doing the mushroom parcel things? Oh, no, we've changed the menu now. Oh. I'm like, oh. Okay, so I'm looking through this thing. And there was nothing I wanted. You know, it was all poncy food. Why can't we have something normal on there? You know what I mean by that, don't you? It was all poncy food. And my mate says, do you want to go somewhere else? I said, that's all right, I'll just have some chips, because he wanted to eat in there. Yeah, and he's like, no, we'll go somewhere else. I said, I'm afraid we're going now. He doesn't like the new menu. And that was it. We got up and went, and I never went back again. He's too expensive, Jamie Oliver. I don't care what your name is. We want cheap, decent food. That's why your places have closed down, Sunshine. You're too expensive. Who's got 60 or 70 quid to spend on a lunch for two? Ridiculous pricing. Absolutely ridiculous. It's very nice in there. The staff are very pleasant. It's nice and clean and tidy. It's all laid out nicely. But 60 or 70 quid for lunch? I don't think we even had pudding either. So that's interesting, isn't it? Eh? Heidi says it's Venezuela that's run out of toilet paper. Oh, is it? Oh, well, I haven't got a holiday booked there. Ha 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 ha. Andy reckons a sale of newspapers are going out. I remember having newspaper as toilet paper in the Scouts. Oh, yes. It was a couple of Scout camps. Walton Firs. I think Walton Firs, which actually is in Cobham. It's not too far away from here. And you'd be sitting on the toilet. And there, next to the toilet, would be a piece of string with pieces of newspaper cut out on the string like that. And someone had threaded it through. And that's what you had to use as toilet paper. Isn't that awful? Morning, Leon. Good. One other company that looks like it's all gone terribly wrong, as you've seen in the news, is Toys R Us. In this morning's Sun, it says Toys R Us could go into administration tomorrow, putting 3,200 jobs at risk. And frankly, I'm not surprised. The story goes on, the chain is courting potential buyers in Europe hours before it plans to put British stores into administration. And I'm not surprised. Now, I went into a Toys R Us a couple of years ago around Christmas time. And I can only describe it to you as a stockroom, as a giant stockroom with absolutely no feeling of happiness or children or atmosphere whatsoever. It was awful. When you go into places like Hamleys, Hamleys is the big one in London. You know, you pay a little bit more in Hamleys, but my God, do you have a good time in there? You really do. We've got a place in Bracknell now called Mr. Entertainer. That's a fairly happy place, you know, stacks of toys everywhere, reasonable staff and what have you. But Toys R Us is just totally without any atmosphere whatsoever. It's like walking into a funeral parlour. And I'm not surprised at all that they've lost the plot. Awful. So it looks like they're going to go into, I mean, a great shame, you know, the 3,200 staff that are going to lose their jobs. It's not their fault that the company runs as it is. The staff should have been trained to be walking around, hello, can I give you a demonstration? Or things happening in the store like a toy store should be. Not a stock room with just stacks and stacks of Monopolies and Barbie dolls all over the place. Absolutely atmosphereless. So we never went after that. We went one Christmas about 3 years ago and we never went back in there. Horrible place. Horrible place. So that's about to close. Good morning to Ross. His first time on Facebook. Welcome along, Ross. Oh, that was you on the friends thing, was it, Ross? Okay, I shall add you now. You will be added immediately. There you are. You have been added, Ross. I wasn't sure if it was you or not on there. You have now been added. Thank you, Ross. Good morning to Pete Branch, who's nice and warm in Brazil, aren't you, sir? Nice and warm in Brazil. Lovely. I wish I was there at the moment. It's too cold here. Juan says, here in the EE, Toys R Us will be closing hundreds of stores nationwide. There you go. EE. In the EE as well. Well. Morning, Tony Power. Morning, Tony. Paul says his house is always running out of bog roll. Well, you've got to buy two, you see. Never just buy one. Never just buy... Oh, I finished. Oh, it's no toilet roll. Oh, terrible. And good morning to Hickmat. Morning, Hickmat. All right, let's do today's birthdays, boys and girls. It's birthday time on the Chris Reardon Show. Now, don't forget, at 10 o'clock, type into your address browser, www.uploadradio.com. On the left-hand side, it will say Listen Now. Click Listen Now, select any one of the three stations there, and you'll be able to hear my music and chat show, which I thought was quite nice and flowing. It was better than it was last week. Last week, I wasn't very pleased with what I did last week. This week, I am reasonably pleased. So, uploadradio.com at 10 o'clock in 5 minutes' time, okay? Birthdays then. Happy birthday this morning to Stephen Grant. Who's Stephen Grant? He was the one who sang, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Stephen Grant, very good friend of mine, and he was a part of Tight Fit, and he's in his 60s now, and he's got muscles out here. He's never stopped going to the gym. Marvellous, and he's such a nice person. Happy birthday to Stephen Grant this morning. Nurgul Akeem is 39 years old this morning. Happy birthday to Nurgul. Scottie Duncan. Good morning, Scottie. Happy birthday to you. Chris Bedwell, who is with us this morning. The birthday boy is there. Happy birthday, Chris. Keep taking those photos, sir. If I become rich and famous one day, Chris, you will be my personal photographer. You will. Happy birthday to James Everton. Good morning, sir. Happy birthday to Robert Brown. Hello, Robert. Old black cap customer. Happy birthday, Robert. Jason Darcy is a very young 47 this morning. Morning, Jason. I watched to see all your posts. Morning, Jason. Simon Happily, comedian extraordinaire and quiz show host. Happy birthday, Simon. Another black cap customer. Patricia Devlin. Patricia Devlin is my cousin's wife. It's her birthday today. She don't live too far away from here, actually. Happy birthday, Patricia. Andy Cole, 38 years old today. He used to work in bars, again with me, and then he went off to manage Audi. I think he was area manager of Audi. Happy birthday, Andy. Nice to see you on here, sir. Tom, good morning, Tom Goacher. Morning, little Tom. Happy birthday to you. Carla Slater is 46 years old today. Chris O'Hara is his birthday today. And, that's it. And that's it. Let's sing the song, and then it's time to go. What's going on with that piano? Keep up, dear. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Stephen, Gurley, Scottie, Chris, James, Robert, Jason, Simon, Patricia, Andy, Tom, Carla, and Chris. Happy birthday to you. It didn't quite fit this time, did it? There we are. That's it for the show today, gang. Finally, let's say hello to Hikam, who's watching in India this morning. Good morning. I'd love to visit the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal. That would be quite nice to see that. And Mark Anthony joins us very late, just as we're about to finish. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today. Don't forget, gang, in 2 minutes' time, log in to uploadradio.com. Top left-hand corner, click on Listen Live. Select any one of the 3 stations, London and the South or something like that, and you can listen to my music and chat show just about to start on there. An hour of chat and fun. Tonight, Monday night, I'll be hosting karaoke at Central Station Bar in Wharfdale Road, King's Cross. Be nice of you to come and sing a song. 8 till 11:30 that, with cheap drinks as well. So Monday night karaoke, Central Station, Wharfdale Road, King's Cross, starting at 8 till 11:30 with cheap drinks. Have a lovely Monday and wrap up warm. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.